welcome, welcome. My name is Jordan, and this is a 60-minute deep stretch sequence. Deep stretch is one of my favorite ways to get into the body, create some space, really honor the breath, and just feel good from head to toe. This is an intermediate practice. However, I will offer options throughout our time together. Feel free to grab a couple of blocks, maybe a bolster, a couch cushion, and a blanket. And we'll go ahead and get started at the top of our space in our mountain pose. So take a moment to bring the feet about hips width, maybe even a little bit wider. Lift the toes and soften them back down. Bring a little bit of space to the knees as you tone the quad. And take a deep breath in and a long breath out. And begin to just let the body, the physical body, hang on the bones, allowing the muscles to just hang out here. Maybe the body sways. And take a breath like this. Notice how it feels to hold ourselves in this way, in this shape. And as you're ready, lift the toes, feel into all four corners of the feet. Spread through the fingertips, draw the energy up from the bottoms of the feet. Inhale, snuggle the shoulders up towards the ears. Big breath in, maybe chin slightly towards the sky. Clench the fists, hold, pause, retain the breath. And exhale, sigh it out. Slide the shoulders down the back body. Eyes of the palms forward, elbow creases too. And soften the toes back down. Tadasana, mountain pose, and take a breath here. Notice how it feels to hold ourselves like this. And on your next inhale, wiggle the fingertips, reach the hands up high, big breath in. Exhale to cactus, bend into the elbows. Inhale to reach. Exhale to cactus, maybe turn the palms outward and bend into the knees. One more, inhale to reach. Exhale to cactus, turn the palms out, bend the knees if you'd like. And melt it down, forward fold, Uttanasana. Bending the knees to hinge at the hips, release. Take a moment here to bend and sway. Maybe gently shake the head, yes and no. Creating space in the cervical spine. And on your next inhale, lift halfway, slide the palms to the tops of the thighs. Find a little resistance here. Palms into thighs and thighs into palms. Pause for the exhale, hugging the low ribs in, squeezing the elbows in towards the side body, like little grasshopper legs. Shift the weight into the ball of each foot, maybe even the toes, as the tail charges towards the back of your space. Maintain this length. One more inhale, maybe grow a little longer, slight tuck of the chin. And exhale, fold, let it go, melt it down. Lift the toes, sink the hips back in space. Inhale, root to rise. Big breath, high mountain. Exhale, side body bend to the right. Right fingertips to the left wrist. Inhale through center. Exhale, side body bend to the left. Left fingertips to the right wrist. Maybe we pull the right thumb back. Option to gaze up. Beautiful. Inhale through center. Exhale to cactus. Inhale to reach. And exhale, side body bend to the right, adding on. Bend into your right knee. Sweep the left foot behind and to the right. Big breath in, heavy in both big toe ball mounds as we rainbow through the left ribs. Deep breath in. Exhale, fold, soft knees. Keep your twisted root legs, finding a different variation of our forward fold, making any adjustments that feel good. And inhale, half lift here, maybe palms to each shin, long spine. Exhale, fold, let it go. And root down through both big toe ball mounds. Root to rise, draw the energy up. Inhale to reach. Exhale, navel to spine for stability. Uncross the legs. Inhale, high mountain. Exhale, side body bend to the left. Bend into your left knee and sweep your right foot behind. Moving from the navel, even here in these shapes. Big breath in, heavy in both big toe ball mounds. And exhale, bend the knees, melt it down, forward fold with your twisted root. Inhale to lift halfway, palms to each shin. Exhale, release. Big toe ball mounds, press into each one. Inhale to rise, big breath, big stretch. Exhale, hands to the heart, soft knees, navel to spine. Find center and release, eyes of the palms forward, mountain pose. Full cycle of breath here. And when you're ready, inhale, root to rise. Exhale, fold down the midline. Inhale, half lift. Option to bring palms to the earth this time, fingertips on the earth. Maybe we gaze forward. And exhale, release. We'll plant the palms, step the feet back to your plank shape. Option to lower the knees, or if you'd like, you can pedal through the feet, getting into the backs of the legs, maybe lowering one knee and sawing back and forth, pulsing through each leg. And as you're ready, find stillness, stability from center. Inhale. Exhale, lower all the way to the abdomen, slow and controlled. Palms in line with the ribs. Inhale, Bhujangasana, Cobra, stay low. Lift from the base of the skull, root down through the taps of the feet and the pubic bone. Exhale, release. Two more. Inhale, Cobra. Maybe we get light on the fingertips. Pin the elbows back. Exhale, release. Last one. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, lower. Beautiful work. And we'll slide the palms forward for Sphinx pose. Shoulders over the elbow creases. Still rooted through the tops of the feet. And imagine drawing the heart forward as we stay rooted in the lower body. Maybe roll the shoulders back and down, gaze forward, or slightly ahead of you, maybe at the ground. That's okay. Deep breaths here. A little bit of core engagement, maybe a lot of it. That's okay. Deep breaths. And release. Option to lift for Sphinx or turn the palms out slightly. Fingertips still spread nice and wide. Press into the earth. Lengthen through the elbows any amount for seal. Deep breath. Maybe gently open through the throat without crunching the back of the neck. Prioritizing this engagement in the back body, the lower back body. To intensify this, you can walk the palms in just a bit. 3 breaths wherever you've landed. And release. Beautiful work, my friends. Take a moment to give the hips a little bit of a wiggle. And extend your left arm out to the left. Laying chest opener. Tense up onto the right fingertips. Take the right toes up and over behind the body. And breathe into the front of the heart space. Option to bend into both knees and maybe shift the hips. So we have the sacrum on the earth. Deep twist. 3 breaths here. If you had both knees bent, extend the left leg long and use your right knee to guide the torso back through center. And we'll take it to the second side. Right arm long out to the right, resting on the right ear and cheek, leading with the left toes, left fingertips tented, take it up and over. And we have our option to pause and explore here, or if you'd like, you can begin to bend into the right knee, stamping both feet onto the mat. And deepen the breaths. Keeping in mind anything that could be described as sharp or painful, that's not yoga. We want to honor our breath, meet ourselves where we are without judgment, without agenda. No one one to impress here. It's just you and me. Begin to extend the right leg long. And leading with the left knee, come back through center. Ooh, big stretch. Big transition for me. Go ahead and come on back through center. Tense up onto the fingertips to the left and the right. One more cycle of back bends. Turn the elbows towards the sky. Again, rooted through the tops of the feet. Inhale to lift, ridge back, cobra. Exhale to lower. Beautiful. 2 more. Inhaling to lift any amount. We can always stay nice and low, lifting from the base of the skull still. And exhale to lower, rippling through the spine like a wave. 1 more. Maybe we see how light we can get on the fingertips, really engaging the back body. And exhale, release. Plant the palms, wrists under the shoulders, tuck the toes, and press to your tabletop shape. Take a moment to shift back and forth. Option to get a little bonus stretch here, shifting the hips towards the heels with the toes tucked. Or you can always have tops of the feet rooted. Fingertips spread nice and wide or up on fists. Upper arm bones rotate out. Elbow creases try to look away from the body when we bear a load on the hands. And when you're ready, find your cow-cat. Soften the abdomen towards the earth. Lift the heart and the chin. Exhale to round the spine, chin to chest. Maybe look back at the toes. Cat pose. Inhale for cow. Option to add any movements that feel good. Exhaling to contract for your cat shape. Maybe you'd like to veer off the cow-cat railroad tracks entirely, circling out the hips, getting into the shoulders, taking about 3 to 5 more breaths here, just to find your way to make this shape your own. Maybe even taking a moment to flip one palm, and then the other, seeing how it feels to find our cow-cat shape here. Always an option to pause. Any places that feel sticky or stuck. Always an option to pause. Any places that feel sticky or stuck. And come back to your neutral tabletop shape. Tuck the toes, sink the hips towards the heels. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Tail tilts towards the sky. Maybe we keep a nice bend in the knees, pedal it out. As we continue to wrap the upper arm bones out, pressing into the L of each hand, gripping the mat with each fingertip equally. Imagining we could send the energy up from the hands to the heels as we melt the heart towards the earth and the abdomen towards the upper legs, towards the thighs. And find stillness, hugging the low ribs in. Deep breath in. Long breath out. And root down through the left heel. Inhale the right leg high. Bend the right knee, open up the hip. Finding your scorpion tail. Imagining you could touch your right heel to your right glute. Deep breath. Exhale, let it go. Inhale brings you back, 3-legged dog. Right toes turn down. Exhale, lizard lunge. Right foot to the outside of your right hand. Contract the right obliques. Take it out nice and wide and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Take a moment up nice and tall in your lizard shape. Maybe pulse through the left heel. And find stillness. Maybe reaching for a block. Prioritizing space and depth for the breath. And take a deep breath in. Press your right forearm into your right, inside of your right leg as it presses back in. Finding a little bit of an active lizard shape. Spike through the left heel. Heavy in the right heel. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Noticing how this impacts sensation here in this variation. One more inhale. And exhale to soften the left knee down. You can take a moment to maybe circle the hips if you'd like. Or find stillness. And when you're ready, you can take your right hand to the top of the right thigh, finding a twist. Deep breaths to lengthen, and exhale to twist. Option to wind the right hand forward, up and back to externally rotate that shoulder. Maybe we hang out in space or bend into the left knee and reach for the quad stretch. Deep breaths here. Hips drawing forward rather than sinking down. We're not collapsing here. To cultivate sensation, we're mindfully and deeply stretching the body. Deepening the breath to intensify sensation anywhere that feels supportive. One more inhale here. And exhale, release. Option to fold to the forearms here. 3 full cycles of breath. Maybe the right foot peels up off and the right knee falls open. Breathing, being here. Came down to the forearms, go ahead and lift up onto the palms, reseal the right foot to the earth. You may like to tuck the left toes. Take an inhale to lift the heart. Exhale, half splits. Pull the right hip back. Variation of our Ardha Hanumanasana, or half splits, a little bit of a wider base here. And if you'd like, you can tick-tock the right heel side to side, spread the toes, maybe begin to fold back down, drawing the nose towards the shin, the knee. Staying active in that right heel, like you want to dig it into the earth and drag it back as we charge through the right sit bone towards the back of your space. Keeping the spine nice and long in the low back, and maybe allowing the upper to mid back to hang heavy. When you're ready, inhale to lift and lengthen. Option to pause here, explore, or if you'd like, you can sink the left glute towards the left heel, drag the right heel with you, and point through the right toes. Maybe crawling the fingertips forward, out to the side, or back. If you'd like, you can also roll out that right ankle. Deep breaths. Inhale to lift and lengthen. We come back the way we came, finding our low lunge or lizard lunge. Tuck the left toes, lift the knee, plant the left palm. Inhale, easy twist, right hand high. Big breath in. Exhale, bend into the right elbow, draw it in towards the right heel. Make a little bit of a dynamic twist. Inhale to lift. Exhale, draw it in, elbow towards the heel. One more, inhale to lift. Exhale, draw it in. And we come back to our low lunge twist. Easy twist, deep breath in. Exhale to swoop the right hand back, to come forward, roll the heart open. You can pivot to the outside edge of both feet for horizon lunge if you'd like, or take the right toes behind and lift the hips, spinning the left heel, the left foot towards the back of your space, and finding your wild thing. Maybe circling the right shoulder, deep breath in. And on your exhale, we sink the hips, keep the right knee bent. Give it a squeeze of the left arm, seated twist. Big breath in. Exhale, twist. Maybe gaze over the right shoulder. Beautiful. Inhale brings you back through center. Find a counter twist to the left. Exhale here. And leading with the right knee, come back through center. Tuck the toes, lift to your plank shape, and find downward facing dog. No sun salutations today, but we will build a little bit of heat. Part of stretching deeply and safely is cultivating a little bit of engagement in the muscles so we don't overstretch. When you're ready, root down through the right heel, your downward dog. Inhale the left leg high, bend the left knee, open up the hip. Deep breaths, root down through the left hand to level out the shoulders. Inhale, three-legged dog, left toes turn down. Exhale, lizard lunge, second side, stay lifted. Find that resistance. Left arm, left leg. Spike through the right heel. Deep breaths. See how it feels to imagine you could drag the left heel towards the back of your space. So you press evenly into the right toes. One more inhale. And exhale, soften the right knee down. You're welcome to take a moment, find your lizard shape. Maybe bring in some movement, circle the hips, and find stillness. Sitting up tall on the palms or the blocks. And when you're ready, take your left hand to your left thigh. Inhale here, halfway through your twist. And on your exhale, roll the left shoulder back, like we're circling the rib cage around the axis of the spine. And this is a wonderful place to pause and explore. Or if you'd like, you can wind the left hand forward, up, and then back, turning the left thumb towards the earth. And then maybe we reach for the right foot, quad stretch. Sinking the hips forward rather than collapsing down. Deep breaths here, option to find that twist still, opening through the heart, maybe the throat. Embracing a little bit of comfortably uncomfortable. Deep breaths. When you're ready, mindfully unravel, no slingshots today. Release the right foot. We come back the way we came. And you have an option to melt down to the forearms here. Maybe even bring a block underneath the forehead. Or allow the left foot to peel up off the earth. Left knee maybe drapes open. It's a little bit of a counterweight. And here, maybe we deepen the breath to intensify sensation. Imagining every cell of the body expanding and contracting with every cycle of breath. You can begin to come back up onto the forearms, reseal the left foot. Take a deep breath in, lift the heart, and on your exhale, hinge the left hip back. Find your half splits variation. Maybe tick-tock the left heel, circle the ankle. And we'll find stillness here again on the second side. Dig the left heel into the earth. And even though this is, an intermediate practice, sometimes it's better to keep a little bit of a bend in that knee so we can focus on creating that resistance to find that sensation that's going to be therapeutic for us today. At least for me. Maybe for you it's a little bit different, yeah? And again, always an option to find movement or embrace a ground stillness. Maybe you'd like to melt the forearms towards the earth, kind of like a lizard half splits. And deepen the breath. Charge the left sit bone towards the back of your space. Maybe let the head hang heavy. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Option to pause here, or on an exhale, sink the right glute towards the right heel, toes tucked for a bonus stretch, and then point through the left toes. Maybe you'd like to frame the foot here, really curl the toes under. Maybe we sink towards the earth, heart towards the earth, curling the hands wherever feels supportive today. Maybe here too, we let the head hang heavy and breathe here, be here. Begin to lift and lengthen. Deep breath in. And exhale to rebend into the left knee. Plant the right palm, tuck the right toes. Find your low lunge twist. Peel the heart open towards the sky. Left hand reaches. Deep breath in. Exhale to bend into your left elbow. Draw it in towards the left heel. Maybe sinking any amount here. Yeah, maybe the right elbow bends with us. Inhale to reach. Exhale to curl it in. One more. Inhale to reach. Exhale, curl it in. Beautiful. Inhale to reach. Exhale to swoop the left hand back to come forward. Reach and roll the heart open. We can pivot to the outside edge of both feet if that feels good for horizon lunge. Or if you'd like, you can turn the right toes towards the sky. Step the left toes behind for your version of wild thing. Deep breaths here. And when you're ready, sink the hips, keep the right leg long. Give your left knee a little hug. The right elbow. Take a deep breath in to lengthen. And on your exhale, find your twist. Left palm roots behind the body. Option to seal the left hand towards to the earth so that we can find that nice lift in the heart. And on an inhale, we unravel back through center, counter twist. Think upward dog. Maybe the left glute peels up off the earth. Big breath. And exhale, release. Swim the palms back over. Plant the palms and pivot to your plank shape. Inhale to shift forward. Exhale, pike the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Long breath out. And when you're ready, you may like to shorten your stance here. Walk the palms in a bit. Walk the heels out a bit. Walk the feet out a bit. A little bit of a wider stance. Bend into both knees. Shift the weight into the right hand, gripping the mat with the right fingerprints. And take your left hand to your right ankle, shin, or thigh. And from here, we have an option, bend into your left elbow, find a little leverage. Maybe peek up under the right shoulder. And begin to turn the tail again towards the sky. Deep breaths. Use an inhale, soft knees to come back through center. Reroute the left hand and find your twist, second side. Your version. Come back to your downward dog shape. Pedal out the feet. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, step the right foot forward and pivot on the toes. Find your wide-legged fold here. Turning the toes in slightly, heels out. Soft bend in the knees. Take a moment to bend and sway. Explore this shape. And you may want to reach for a couple of blocks or a bolster or a blanket to place out in front of you, because we're going to end up transitioning to a shape that may take us off the mat. So if you're practicing on a little bit of a harder surface, it might feel nice to have that support there. When you're ready, in your wide-legged fold, inhale to lift halfway. Plant the left palm, exhale here, and inhale the right hand high for a twist. Exhale, bend into the right elbow. And bring the right hand to the low back, rolling the right shoulder open. Exhale, release. Right palm roots, left hand high. Inhale, twist. Exhale, bend into the left elbow. Bring your left hand to the low back. Inhale here. And exhale, release. Plant the left palm. Inhale to reach the right hand high. Exhale, option to reach the right hand to the front of the left hip crease or the low back. Finding a bind. 2 deep breaths. On your inhale, mindfully unravel. Come back through center. Right palm roots, left hand high. Inhale here. Exhale, option for your bind. Turning the left hand out towards the top of your space. Coming to the low back or the front of the right hip creases. Doing our best to keep the hips square here. Seeing if one is shifting to one side or the other. And breathe slow, steady, and deep. On an inhale, unravel. We come back the way we came. Forward fold. Inhale to lift and lengthen. One more variation of our twist. Left palm roots, right hand high. Inhale. Exhale, thread the right hand underneath the left shoulder. Reach for the ankle, the shin, maybe the thigh. And we have an option here to wind the left hand around to the low back, or maybe it reaches for the right thigh crease. Option to bend into the right elbow for a little leverage. Mindful not to lock our joints. Use an inhale, unwind the left hand first. And then the right hand will re-extend the right arm high. Big breath in. Exhale to wind it forward, pinkies down, and release. Right palm roots, left hand high. Big breath in. Exhale, thread it through your version. Maybe we bend into the right elbow, peek up under the right shoulder. Maybe we wind the right hand up and back to reach for the left thigh crease. Mindfully unravel, right hand first, comes back to root. Come through center, inhale, re-extend the left arm high. And exhale, wind it forward, pinkies down, and release. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, heel toe the feet in, a little bit wider than the hips. And sink for Malasana, your yogi squat. Prioritizing length in the tail here. And if you'd like, you can find a little sway, like a little pouncing froggy. Getting into the bottoms of the feet. Bringing in any movements that feel good before we settle in to stillness. Maybe even bringing a block underneath the hips here. A little bit of lift, inspiring length in the spine. Lift in the heart. Option to press the palms together. Draw the thumbs down to about where the sternum begins. And activate through the shoulder blades. Drawing them back and down as we lengthen the tail towards the earth. We're not tucking the tail and rounding the spine. We're finding that length and lift here. And breathe. One more inhale here. Exhale to plant the right palm. Inhale, left hand reaches up into the left. Big breath in. Exhale, release. Left palm roots. Right hand reaches. Inhale. Keep your left tricep pressing outward into your left knee or your left thigh as the right knee actively presses out. Beautiful. One more each side. Right palm roots. You can always plant the right palm out to the right. Sometimes that feels more supportive. And inhale the left hand high. Exhale, release. Come back through center. Inhale. And release. One more version, adding on. Inhale the left hand high. Option to bend into the left elbow. Bring it to the low back. Or reach your right arm around for a bind. Again, actively pressing this left knee out. Maybe roll the left shoulder back. Gaze up. Deep breaths. Use your next inhale to mindfully unravel. Left palm roots, right hand reaches, big breath in. Exhale, bend into the right elbow, option to reach for your bind. Keeping that tail nice and long and the heart lifted. 3 breaths here. Use your next inhale to come back through center, mindfully unravel. And shift the hips back, tense up onto the fingertips, turn the toes forward, find a forward fold here, Uttanasana. Take a moment just to straighten, lengthen through the legs really. And take the feet, toes towards the back long edge of your space, just to give yourself room to lower the knees here. So we're gonna be facing the long edge of our mats, not an accident. You can walk the palms out in front just a bit. And this is also a place where maybe we'd like to have a blanket or a bolster just to soften this space here. And begin to take the knees out wide. And then take the ankles out wide, toes out. If you guessed frog, you are correct, my friend. That's where we're going. Maybe you come down to the forearms. Maybe you hinge back and forth. And take 5 to 8 full cycles of breath here. Again, we have that option to bring a bolster or a block underneath the chest. Maybe you'd like to melt the heart towards the earth and rest on one cheek. As you're ready, begin to lift the torso, shift forward just a bit. Think Sphinx pose with the placement of the forearms, shoulders over the elbows, and then take one wrist under the shoulder, and then the other wrist, think chaturanga, using your chaturanga arms to lift. Then turn the heels in, tuck the toes, and then we bring the knees in. Just to move safely, articulating through the hip joint here so we don't stress it out too much. And it might feel nice to shift back and forth, maybe even come back into a little ball shape. Give yourself a little squeeze. Maybe that was really intense. It was for me. Give yourself a moment to breathe and regulate. And release. And we're going to find that tabletop shape, again, facing the long edge of the mat. So shoulders over the wrists, knees under the hip points, and take the right foot out to the right. So foot parallel with the short edge of your mat. Make sure we have our left knee stacked under our left hip crease, under our left hip point. Shoulders about hips, about shoulders, bleh. Wrists about shoulder width. And when you're ready, inhale to soften the abdomen down, lift the tail and the heart, cow pose. And exhale as you round the spine, find your cat shape, turn the right toes towards the sky. Really bring the chin towards the chest. Inhale for cow, right toes look forward. It might feel kind of funky. We're flossing the nerve. Find your cow shape. Right toes towards the sky. Inhale forward. Exhale cat. Maybe even turning the right toes a little bit towards the upper right corner of your mat. Inhale through center. And exhale, tuck the left toes. Sink the left glute towards the left heel. And we can crawl the fingertips forward for a modified child's pose. Taking a moment to breathe here. You can always find movement, hinging back and forth. And inhale to shift forward. Find your tabletop shape. Root down through the left hand. Inhale, right hand high. Big twist coming up. Exhale, thread the needle. Right arm underneath your left shoulder. Maybe right ear and cheek meet your block, your bolster, your blanket. 2 breaths here. Option to wind the left hand again back for the right hip crease. Mindful not to lock our joints here, keeping the hips nice and level. We bring the left hand back first. Reroot. Inhale, re-extend the right arm high. Ooh, exhale, wind it forward, pinkies down, and release. Bring the left knee in, right into the second side. Left foot reaches out to the left, foot parallel with the short edge of your mat. Find your nice long neutral spine. And inhale for cow pose. Exhale for cat, turn the left toes towards the sky. Ooh, one side may feel a little bit different. It is for me. Inhale for cow, left toes forward. Exhale for cat. Turn the left toes towards the sky, maybe even towards the back left corner of your space. Inhale for cow. 2 more. Your breath, your movement. And come back, neutral spine, and sink the right heel right glute towards the right heel. Maybe fold forward, finding your balasana variation. Taking a few breaths here, softening the joints, and breathing into sensation. Begin to lift, pressing back up. Come back to your neutral spine. We'll root down through the right hand this time. Inhale, left hand high. Exhale, thread the needle any amount here. Maybe you wind the right hand back to catch the left hip crease if it feels good. 3 breaths here. Beautiful. Come back through center, right palm roots, left hand re-extends, big breath in. Ooh, exhale the left hand back and down, bend into your left knee, come back to your tabletop legs. And actually, let's bring the knees a little bit closer together and draw the knees in so that we can have the tops of our feet still on our soft mat, and begin to press into the palms to lift the knees any amount, stretching through the top of the foot. If you'd like, you can lengthen through the legs, taking a moment to just breathe into the tops of the feet, moving them in a way they don't normally move. Maybe making this more of a forward fold variation if that feels good. You can always do one at a time. Deep breaths. And untuck one foot and the other. We'll take the feet out a little bit wide, toes out, heels in, sink the hips to the earth, and kick the legs out wide. For your straddle shape, option here to sit up on a blanket or maybe a pillow. Just find a nice lift in the hips, lengthen the spine. Take the hands out wide, big T shape. Just begin to saw back and forth. Pausing any places that feel sticky or stuck. Maybe we begin to bring the hand to the inside of the foot. Making this shape, this movement your own. Eventually, taking the one hand up and over, finding a side body stretch. Making this kind of a cartwheel back and forth. Breathing here. And come back through center and fold forward. Coming to the forearms or the blocks. Maybe you'd like to pancake down. That's not in my practice, but this would be maybe a good place to do that. And allow the back body to drape like a heavy, secure blanket. Again, blooming every cell of the body with breath. Begin to lift the torso if you'd melted quite far down. Walk the hands in. We'll bend into the left knee, just the left knee. Finding a half butterfly or half straddle, maybe even a seated tree variation. On your inhale, reach the hands up nice and high. Exhale, twist to the left, right hand to the left knee or thigh. Big breath in. Exhale here. And keeping your right hand as it is, take your left hand up and over, side body bend, big breath in. Exhale here. Option to bind, taking the left hand to the right foot. Maybe bringing your right elbow to the earth for stability, focusing on pulling the left elbow back to keep the heart rolling open, both sit bones heavy. One more cycle of breath here. Mindfully release, leading with the left hand. We come back the way we came through center. Plant the left palm behind the left glute. Inhale to lift, stargazer. Right hand swoops up and back. Pull the right thumb back to peel the heart open. Deep breath in. And exhale, release. Sink the hips. And we'll take the left leg long, right knee bent. Moving into the second side. You're doing great. And on your inhale, reach. Exhale, twist to the right. Take a deep breath in here. And a long breath out here. And when you're ready, left hand stays as it is. Right hand up and over, side body bend. Maybe this side is a little bit different. That's okay. Same options. Maybe you'd like to reach for the bind without compromising your foundation. Yeah, it's deep stretch, but that's relative to what you need today, where you are today. And range of motion can change not only person to person, but individually, day to day, hour to hour sometimes. Be kind to yourself. Create space for self-love and acceptance with your breath. Once you're ready, leading with the right hand, we come back the way we came. Ooh, lots of sensation. Right palm plants behind the body. Inhale to lift the hips. And your stargazer, big breath in. Exhale, release, sink the hips. We'll take the feet out, not quite as wide. Just find a little windshield wiper here. Moving side to side. Maybe allowing the neck to come along this journey, circling the nose. And allow the knees to drape to the left, finding our half pigeon. So we're facing the back of our space. You can slide the right leg long behind you, or if you like, you can always bend into this right knee and bring it up towards the bottom of your left foot and crawl the fingertips forward for your half pigeon shape. If you'd like, you can slide the right leg long. Left heel can always be closer in towards the inner thighs. Does not have to be parallel with the short edge of your mat. Whoever said that first, jail time. Feel free to grab a block, a blanket, whatever you need. And if you'd like, you can begin to root down through the top of the right foot if you have that variation. Root down through the outside edge of your left foot and begin to curl the fingertips back, trying to guide the hip points in so they're trying to, be in line with each other without dumping too much excess energy in the low back, okay? So maybe we're more forward, or we're embracing this lift in the heart, keeping the low back long, kind to our lumbar spine. Maybe we curl the fingertips back, maybe they hover, maybe we bend into the right knee, reach for the right foot. Maybe you bring the right foot into the crook of your elbow. Maybe you wind the left hand up and back to bind, gazing forward or up. Heavy in the top of the right thigh, not dumping any weight in the knee. Deep breaths here in your mermaid shape or wherever you've landed. One more inhale. And exhale, release the left hand, then release the right. Try not to slingshot the right foot back down. And we melt it forward, folding any amount. 10 beautiful breaths here. Begin to press into the palms, lifting the torso, maybe letting the head hang nice and heavy, curling the fingertips in, slowly shifting the hips, shifting the weight into the left hip. Bend into the right knee, flex through the feet. And we'll find some windshield wipers here. For me, it feels good to pause in this deer shape with the left knee draping in. But for you, maybe you'd like to invite some movement. When you're ready, allow the knees to drape to the right. And you can either slide the left leg long or keep it bent, drawing it up towards the right foot. And again, we can always bring that right foot in a little bit closer. We're not fighting our anatomy today. Find your version. Maybe we sit up nice and tall here. You can always take the left hand to the right foot, right hand to the top of the right thigh, using that leverage for a little bit of lift in the heart. So we're not, crushing our lumbar spine, our low back. We need that. We need it. And on your inhale, lift the heart. Maybe if you'd like, you can curl the fingertips back. Maybe they float. Maybe we open through the throat. Maybe bend into the left knee. And you can reach for a quad stretch. Always an option to use your right hand as support here. Or if you like, you can take the left foot into the crook of the elbow and wind the right hand up and back. Finding your mermaid shape. Hip point shine forward. Heavy in the outside edge of your right foot and shin. And the top of your left thigh. Deep breaths. And release. Right hand releases. Mindfully release the left foot and melt it down, folding forward, releasing to the earth for 10 cycles of breath. Begin to lift, raising the torso. And crawl the fingerprints in, maybe letting the head lift up last. Shift the hips to the right, flex into the feet. And we'll find those windshield wipers one more time. Or if you'd like to join me in just letting the knees drape to the left. Taking about 3 to 5 more breaths here. And when you're ready, we'll turn to face the short edge of our space. And take a nice slow roll down to the back body, stretching out long when you arrive. Maybe rolling out the wrists and the ankles. And on an exhale, plant the palms to frame the hips, snuggle the shoulder blades beneath the body, bend into the knees, feet about hips width. And if you'd like, we're gonna move through a couple rounds of back bends. If you would prefer at this chapter in your practice to move into supported bridge, you're welcome to reach for a block or even a blanket or a pillow, something soft to conform to the back body, just to, soften any hard edges of effort here, yeah? So we move closer to Savasana, to rest. On an inhale, lift the hips, either sliding your block underneath, or you can always stay active in the legs, lifting any amount here. Charging through the heels as if you want to drag them up towards the upper back body. Maybe we snuggle the shoulder blades beneath and try to tear the mat apart with the triceps as you lengthen the crown towards the back of your space. Maybe you'd even like to clasp the hands underneath. Lifting the hips as you lengthen the tail towards the backs of the knees. Deep breaths here. And you're welcome to stay in your supported bridge if you'd like. If you're in your active variation, go ahead and release. You're welcome to take a moment, hug the knees in towards the chest. And we have an option to lift for bridge one more time, or you can join me for wheel. Taking the hands by the shoulders. Maybe you like to have your bridge with the fingertips pointing towards the shoulders. If it feels better to have them in any other variation, if there's a more comfortable setup, because I know that way isn't, the yoga police aren't going to come get you if you do it a different way, at least here in this house. But I've just heard recently that some people really don't like to do it like this, and I don't like to have too many strict rules for yoga. It's just, I digress. Don't hurt yourself. Try to turn the elbows towards the sky, or just energetically hug them in, plant the palms. And inhale, lift for your bridge shape. And on your exhale, instead of taking the crown and compressing the cervical spine, we're just going to power through the hands and lift. Drawing the heart between the elbows, just in that general direction. Deep breaths in your wheel shape. One more inhale. Exhale, chin to chest, bend into the elbows, and unravel the spine bone by bone. And take a moment either in constructive rest or knees to chest. One hand on the heart, one hand on the abdomen. If you're in your supported bridge, you can go ahead and come on out if you feel ready. And make your way into constructive rest, feet wide, knees towards the midline. Or knees to chest, taking a moment to decompress the low back, massage the lumbar spine if it feels good, or find stillness, allowing the body to regulate after back bending. And if you're in your ball shape or constructive rest, extend the left leg long. Hug the right knee in towards the chest. Give it a squeeze. Deep breath in. On your exhale, right knee up and over, supine twist. Option to pause here. Maybe take something to support the right knee. Maybe reach the right arm out to the right, loose cactus. Or you can extend into the right leg, maybe reach for the big toe or the outside edge of the foot, whatever's available. For variation of cat pulling its tail. As you're ready, if you had the right leg long, gently bend that knee, Guide the hips back through center. And we'll take it to the second side, right leg long. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. Give it a squeeze. And on an exhale, twist to the right. Maybe you'd like to find that same variation or try something new. Keeping in mind we don't have to do two things that look exactly the same to find balance. Maybe we do two things that look a little bit different individually on each side of the body. And the end result is still some form of energetic or physical equilibrium. Use your next breath in to mindfully make your way through center and stretch out long here. Maybe reach the hands up overhead, point and flex through the feet, roll the wrists, breathe deep. And on an exhale, release the palms to frame the hips. Just snuggle the shoulder blades beneath the back body. Take the feet a little bit wider than the hips, and maybe allow the palms to rest face up. Taking a moment to breathe here, to be here. Embracing a sense of rest. If you would like to bend the knees for constructive rest, taking the feet a little bit wide, knees bent, and knocking in gently towards the midline. For a little bit of support in the low back, you're welcome to do so. You can also rest one hand on the low abdomen, one hand on the heart. Lift the back of the head, tuck the chin, release it back down. Inviting some space, some length in the back of the neck. Allow the gaze to soften and the eyelids to become heavy and close. Bringing in awareness to the space between the whole top row and the whole bottom row of teeth. Allowing the tongue to rest at the bottom of the mouth. And invite any resulting softness to gently expand through the body as the breath returns to its own natural rhythm. Maybe the lips even part. And we start to bring in awareness to the temperature of the breath as it leaves the body. The temperature of the mouth is that last bit of breath. Exhales. And we find a gentle surrender to the pull of gravity here in Savasana. welcome to stay in your rest shape for as long as you'd like. But if you're ready, if it's time to take this practice off the mat and into the rest of your day, I invite you to deepen the breath. Open and scrunch the toes, wiggle the fingers, roll the ankles and wrists. Stretch out long. Give yourself a squeeze and make your way to one side. To press up to a comfortable upright position, comfortable seat, whatever that feels like in this moment. And notice how it feels to be in the body here. Temperature of the breath, the depth, the space. And if it feels right, you can join the thumbs together at the heart space with me, Anjali Mudra. Or I invite you to take a cycle of breath together here to close out this practice on the mat and honor the effort it took to make it here. Not only to these four corners, but to this moment. And celebrate this time spent in community doing yoga. Tall spine, soft face. Deep breath in through the nose. Pause for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, let it go. You can bring the chin to the chest. Release the palms. Flutter the eyes open. And move along into your next cycle of breath. Thank you for sharing your time and your practice with me. It's such a treat, as always, to be here as your guide. Again, my name is Jordan, and I hope you enjoyed this time on your mat. Thank you for making the decision to bring a little bit more presence, a little bit more space to your world, and in turn, the world of those around you. For that, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Be well. Namaste.